What's up, everybody? This is Talking All That Kaz, and I am DJ Kazzeo. I want to thank you for checking out this particular episode of Talking All That Kaz. On this particular episode, I got another great interview that I conducted here on my radio show at 90.9 FM KHTC in Salinas, California. But before we get going with that, I want you to go to this address, djkazzeo.com, and connect with me on social media. Whether it's on my Facebook, on my Instagram, on my Twitter, or even if you go and subscribe to my Mixcloud channel, you can hear all my radio shows that I do in their entirety, music, commentary, and interviews. But this right here, Talking All That Kaz, this is for just the interviews, okay? I want to thank everybody who checked out the first round of interviews that I put up. Now we're on to the second round. This particular round, I'm going to focus on 2019, but I'm going to sprinkle it in with some more current stuff too. So you never know what you're going to get. Just sit back, relax, and enjoy another edition of Talking All That Kaz with me, DJ Kazzeo.
Now, here's your host, DJ Kazzeo. DJ Kazzeo. DJ Kazzeo.
That's right. It's 90.9 FM KHTC right here in Salinas, Santa Cruz, and Monterey. 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy. And streaming live everywhere on the planet at WednesdayRec.com. Real quick, let me run the records back. You just heard Benny Velez, Don't Let It Happen. Aki Star, I Should Be the One. Listen, a.k.a. Lisette Melendez and Cynthia, I Can't Change Your Mind. AJ Cardona, I Want You. Ike, You Never Did Me Right. Jackie Sensi with Memories. And started the show off with Sharon Massarin, Take Me to Ibiza. Very special guest joining us right now. These guys have been putting in work like crazy over the last few years. The Santana Twins joining us tonight. What's up, fellas?
Hey, what's up, man? How's everything?
Hey, what's up?
Did I get you guys snoozing off there? Was I boring you? Hey, man, so, Luis and Ernesto Santana, the Santana Twins, as I said, been putting in a lot of work over the last couple years. But, I want to go back to how the Santana Twins came to be. For some reason, I have it in my head that, like, around the early 2000s, I was hearing about you guys via the Club Freestyle message boards. Is there any truth to that?
That would be correct to an extent, because at that time, I believe we had Freestyle Fresh Kids, Volume 1, and possibly the Susan Santiago were either in the process of being finished or they were out already around that time.
Okay. So, I mean, let's go to the beginning. I mean, how does the production team of the Santana Twins come to be?
Well, we were DJs. We started DJing at 14, and when we were like 15 or 16, a friend of ours sold us Kazzeo RZ1 drum machine, and after that we just got bit by the production bug, and we were always experimenting with our mixes. We would run that drum machine until acapellas on top, and then we decided, hey, what if we got a keyboard or mess around with keyboard? And we started adding our sounds and started remixing our own stuff, and eventually when we went to college, MIDI started getting big. And we went to two different schools. I went to Binghamton University, and my brother went to Buffalo, University of Buffalo. And each school had a very, very small room for MIDI production. And we must have been around 18 years old. So we actually got our chops there. And we used to also rent the infamous M1 keyboard. And my brother would come down from Buffalo, which was about 3 hours away. And we would get together, lock ourselves up on the weekend, and mess around. And that's where we kind of got our start, and how we got our start.
Well, one thing I can tell for sure is, like, seeing your guys' studio videos and pictures, you guys love keyboards. There's a whole lot of keyboards in those studios.
Yeah, the reason for all those keyboards is because we like the analog sound from back in the day. So we slowly but surely built up our collection so we can have the best options available to us whenever we are working on a song. And it gives us fresh ideas.
I would
Positive vibe with the community.
I would hope somewhere in those hallways of that studio there's an Ensoniq EPS 1600 or 16 plus, right?
No, well, those all the keyboards are hard to actually get a hold of, and they're expensive. So we're always on the market, looking what's out there and what we can pick up at a good price. And you might see one day. But we're always searching, always looking for a great deal. And we love to show our toys, and we love to use our toys. It helps us to become better producers and always push the envelope of what sounds people listen to and explore new possibilities.
You know, as far as influence-wise goes, who are some of the producers that influenced your guys' style?
That's very easy. Right from the beginning, you have the Latin Rascals, you have Carlos Barrios, you have Chris Barbosa and Mark Leggett, you have our friend Eddie Frente, the Blade Runners, and of course Micmac, Alva Molina. Those are probably our biggest influences as far as our production and sound. And our sound, I guess, is just an amalgamation of all those guys rolled into one.
Yeah. No. What about any influence, say maybe from like Arthur Baker and John Roby or those guys?
Oh yeah. Well, we always listened to those records because they were like 83, 84.
Right.
But we enjoyed them as DJs. So in the back, we've always had it as a I would say like a model that we would aspire to make sure that it was all about the quality. And Arthur Baker and John Roby, they had that 808. That's when the 808 machine was out. Obviously, we couldn't afford one.
Mm-hmm.
We were like 15, 16 years old. And eventually down the road, we learned how to tweak our sounds to get to that level where our stuff can sound like it was from those drum machines. And yeah, they were definitely influences on us. But they weren't. It wasn't really called freestyle. What they were doing wasn't really freestyle. It was more electro.
Right.
Back then.
Right.
And then when Niobe came out, that's what we considered the freestyle. That was the Andy Panda and Land Rascals and Little Louie and stuff like that.
You know, I've always contended that, granted, you know, Niobe and Freeze and C-Bank were coming out of New York. But I think the quote unquote term freestyle, I think I've always contended that came from Pretty Tony down in Miami, who had that group called Freestyle, and which, you know, kind of like moved on into like Debbie Deb and you know, Trenier and that kind of stuff. I kind of always coin the genre name freestyle. I believe it's credited to him. Am I valid in that?
Yeah. That's a possibility. We actually don't know when and where that term freestyle originated from. When we used to breakdance at the age of 12, 13, 14, the name of our breakdance crew was Freestyle Fresh Kid.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if it was necessarily used as a description of a type of genre, more as like it
was more like a movement, I would say.
But it definitely originated before the actual music came out, and then it just got stuck with the Latin hip hop at that time, which was
right.
You know, the Niobes and the Cover Girls, and then it slowly became called freestyle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and the Miami sound was more considered Miami what they call a Miami beat and stuff like that. Well, at least that's what the New Yorkers believed. They had their own sound. California had their own sound. Chicago had their own sound. Along the way, we were fortunate that in New York, the record labels were supporting a lot of the newer artists at that time. You know, the Cover Girls presentations and stuff like that. So they were pushing, and I think we got more exposure in New York, and Miami had their own movement. So it was considered like a derivative of the Latin hip hop. So then New York became known for freestyle, and then Miami had their own sound. California had their own sound. For us,
right.
California was almost like always laid back. It was a more popish. I think California folks was a more cleaner sound. It was more polished.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. You know, speaking of that, so what exactly are the roles of each of you in the team? I mean, is like, say, Ernesto more of like the drum programming where Luis does the instruments, or, you know, how does it all break down?
It, believe it or not, it breaks down to who sits down in front of the computer first. So my brother might start with the drums, and I'll come in and I'll do some of the keyboards. We'll both write for one song, and then the next song I might do 70% of the work, and he'll do 30%, and then the next song he'll do 80%, and I'll do 20%. But every song that we do, we definitely always, you know, when it comes to the final stages, we both, you know, sit down in the studio for a couple of hours, and we iron out the little details, the finer details. But as far as who does what, we're basically the same. We might have a different style amongst both of us, but in the end product, it's always a mixed match, should I say, a wash, a mashup of both of our production styles.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my brother, I always say my brother's a little cleaner and more prettier, and I like to be a little more rugged and reckless. So he balances me out. He keeps me, you know, controlled, and I get him gritty.
There you go. Good combination. Good cop, bad cop.
Yeah.
Hey, so one of the biggest records, probably like the biggest record, you know, over the last, couple years that you guys have put together was the Lisette Melendez record. Talk to me about the process of putting this together before we get into it, and then, you know, we'll come back and talk some more.
Yeah, so that record came about because a good friend, Carlos Berrios, had told us that Lisette was looking to get a new song done, and he was very busy because, you know, he does a lot of film, and he explained to her that, hey, you might want to go with the Twins because, you know, they got some good stuff, and they might be able to deliver, see what they have. So, we give a lot of respect to Lisette. She's an incredible artist and very talented, and we never met her before. I had spoken to her maybe like a year before that record actually was started, and I saw her in Sammy Zone's birthday party. And as I was leaving, I reached over, I shook her husband, Rex, hand, and said, have a good night. And I told her, hey, Lisette, hopefully we can get together and do a record sometime soon. We got some good stuff that you might want to hear. And we didn't say nothing. And sure enough, she showed up at our studio, and we sat down, and we had sent her the track, the idea, and the vocals, and she's like, I don't really like the lyrics, but I'm feeling the track, the music. So she came over, and we sat down, the three of us, and we wrote the lyrics. She had a particular idea, concept. She wanted to talk about domestic violence,
right?
And she had a good, very solid idea and some lyrics, and we sat down and we wrote the song. We started recording it. We did a good demo of it, and then it was funny because she was like, oh my God, I don't know about the music. We're like, yo, trust us. This is just the demo stage. Once we get all the vocals, we know what we're working with, and then we work the music around the vocals. Because my brother and I are advocates for the importance of the vocal as the main instrument, and you build everything else around it. Because no one is ever going to come to you and say, oh, I love that part. No, they're going to send to you a lyric. So the lyric is the most important and most memorable thing that stays with the fan. So us and our job as a producer is to always build around the vocal, give it a good foundation, and augment musically what the vocals are doing. And that's our recipe, and it's always been our recipe. We don't want to outshine the vocalist because no one is going to buy a record because the piano was incredible.
That's very true, man. That's very true. So you know what? Let's jump into it. This is the original version of Rise, produced by the Santana Twins. We're going to keep them on the line and pick their brain a little bit more right after this. That's right. We're back in the place right here. It's 90.9 FM, KHDC Radio Bilingüe here in Salinas, Santa Cruz, and Monterey. 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy, and streaming live everywhere on the planet at WednesdayRec.com. Back in the place, joined by the one and only Santana Twins. man, awesome production on that Rise record right there, fellas.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So you were telling me that aside from you guys, there was also some special ingredient providers for that track.
Yeah, we had consultation from Carlos Berrios. We also had some additional keyboards added by Mike Lorello and Mark Leggett. So we're fortunate that we can reach out to these guys who are icons in the genre, and always have them as an ear, and they can always lend us some good advice, and we always take that into consideration, and we always implement it. And then it helps us become better producers, and it helps the record. Because in the end, it's all about the song. Give the fans the best that we can. We always say, we're not the best producers, but we always try to give everybody the best that we can at the moment when we're working on a song.
Exactly. Hey, you don't have to name names, but I mean you could if you want. I'm not afraid of controversy. But has there been any artists that you like said, "Oh man, we got to work with them," and then when you got them in the studio and like you try to start working with them, you're like, "This is a mistake."
I can honestly say no, because we've been fortunate and blessed to work with very good vocalists and vocalists that are willing to take direction, because that's very important. Sometimes, you might have an artist come in and their mind is like a straight line. This is what they want, and this is what they want it to sound like. And even if it might be something that doesn't sound good, they don't care. But I can honestly say that we've been fortunate with the artists that we've worked with throughout the years. They've always been open to suggestion, direction, and they've been willing to take our advice as far as taking it to places vocally where they didn't think of or they didn't know they could go. And we've been fortunate. So, and we haven't really, come across artists like that, at least in freestyle.
Right. You gotta understand. The producer is like the director of a movie. It's his job to kind of see the overall picture and kind of infuse his idea what it should sound like. So with a singer, they might have a concept, but they're listening to it. They're not really hearing. And it's our job to hear everything and give our consultation and push the artist. Say, you know what? I think you could do better. Let's try this. Why don't you try this? Say it this way. And once we develop that rapport and they feel comfortable around us, they open up, and it just lends for a better collaboration in the studio, and it's more productive.
Well, one artist that you guys really put out a strong single with was Wendy with the If I Tell You. So what I want to know is, when are we getting a follow-up?
At the current time, I believe Wendy is working on a new single with 418 Freestyle, with gentleman Tino Caparelli, and she's also doing something with Tasmania. But as soon as she finishes those two projects, she'll be back in the studio with us. I was just chatting with her the other day, and I said, "Hey, don't forget the little guys when you get big." And she's like, "No, I have too much fun with you guys in the studio." But it was definitely a good experience. She's an incredible vocalist. The song came out amazing, and we definitely have something. We're going to be working with her in the near future.
A lot of the artists like work with my brother and I because we already have the songs written, like 85% of the time or 80% of the time. So it's like a new experience for them to be singing someone else's records and vocals. So it almost takes them out of their comfort zone and allows them to experiment, and then they put their feeling into the lyrics or their spin on a line, and it makes for a better record. On that particular record, the Wendy, it was crazy because we were stuck for like the vamp at the end, and the three of us were eating a lot of candy and we couldn't think of anything. And I said, "Let me go to the bathroom." On my walk to the bathroom, I got a real quick idea for something, and when I came back, I already had the vamp written. And my brother and Wendy were like, "You wrote it already?" I'm like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. And it came out great, and she delivered. I mean, Wendy is on point, and she gave it to us exactly, even better than I had envisioned it. So it's always great when a vocalist is not afraid to give 120% and always explore new possibilities and concepts when they're in the studio vocally.
What about the artist that comes in and, as you said, you guys, have like 85% of the song written and whatnot, and they come in and they're just not connecting with the vocal? How do you guys get them to connect with it?
Tell them about the Sean record, the first one we did. How we weren't sure, he wasn't sure. And
the newest release that we did with Sean was actually the first release that we did, but due to some paperwork issues and getting some publishing issues ironed out, we had a snafu and we had to delay that release. And Sean was a little disappointed that the song wasn't coming out. And I told him, listen, give me a day or two. I'm going to send you something new, and just go with it. We'll get something out. So I had a song that I had kind of written, before. So I put it together, and I gave it to him, and he's like, oh, I don't know how it sounds. I don't know if it sounds good, And I said, listen, sing it the way I have it on the tape. Add your little flair to it, and get back to me. So he went into the studio, he recorded his vocals, and then afterwards he's like, yeah, I kind of see it now. So he gave me the vocals, I started working the music around it, and then he went a couple of days later and finished the final vocals after we had better music fed, and that was the record Tomorrow that came out. So, we found a way to, convince them that just trust us on the record, and we believe it. We got a hit song with that one. That was, I think that year was like the number 2 or number 3 song for the year.
So, a lot of good stuff. We're going to get into to the most current one, Heartbeat Away, featuring Sean Davis, in just a second. But before I let you guys go, I could not do so without at least getting some kind of, your side of the story. Even though you guys did a video about it, maybe not everybody saw it on Facebook. There was recently a bit of controversy between you guys and Frankie Cutlass over your involvement with the George LeMond record. What's your guys' side of it, and was it resolved? I mean, what's the deal?
Well, that it was just a little misunderstanding, and it wasn't clear what our involvement was in the record. We had always admired, and we still admire Frankie's work, and we wanted to do something with him, and he came up with the concept, hey, why don't we just do a remix of the George LeMond record that he's putting out? And we were like, sure, let's work on that. So, we had a music idea, and he came in, and he had his ideas, and we put our ideas together. The only thing that was the problem was when the record was done, our names were kind of like not in the credits. So it was like it was an error, I guess, on the person who designed the flyer. But we didn't say much. It rolled over. The record didn't get pushed. We don't know really for what reasons. But then with the controversy that ensued with the drama that was going on at that time, the record was mentioned, but our names weren't mentioned in the production, and we just thought it was like a disservice to the fans to let them believe that we didn't have any involvement, especially when people saw us in the studio with Frankie doing the record. So it was just I would say it was just an innocent error, and we just wanted to clarify it. A lot of DJs and producers were asking like, yo, didn't you guys do that record? And we're like, yeah, we did it with Frankie, but our name somehow got erased. But we kind of let the fans know what the deal was with that record.
Well, hey, I smell a rat, but what I'm not an exterminator, so that's not up to me. Hey, so let's talk about Heartbeat Away. Let us know everything we need to know about it before we jump into it.
Heartbeat Away, excellent record, written by Rick Sakal and
Larry Lange.
They used to work for Monet, and they did some writing for George LeMond, I believe, in the past, and produced by us, mixed by us and Aldo, and it's a very good record. We feel like we got the essence of old school freestyle, but we still gave it a little new school sounding, and then Sean's incredible vocals. You know, you can't miss with a vocalist like Sean. You have to level up your musical production when you have a vocalist of his caliber.
And it's available now on Amazon and iTunes and all those spots right now, right?
Yes, it's
Correct.
available on every digital aggregator on the internet, and you can go to our Facebooks, and we have like a super URL link that will take you to your choice of store, or format that you want to buy it.
There it is, man. There it is. So if people want to get in touch with you guys, or follow you on social media, how they go about doing that?
Facebook, we have Instagram and Twitter, and they're all under the Santana Twins. If you just either do a search in either application, the Santana Twins will come up, and you can send us a message. Usually by Facebook, because that's where we usually check first. But we also check Instagram and Twitter as well.
Exactly. That's where we all connected and have been corresponding. Oh, the other thing too. Tell people about the Ride at 5, the Friday show you guys do.
Oh yeah. Well, so we came up with the concept over a year ago where we wanted to get DJs more exposure, and we wanted to pay homage to the 92 KTU type of super mix shows, the Land Rascals and Aldo Marine, and various DJs like George the Animal used to do 20-minute segments, and we came up with that, and it was great because we got a lot of great feedback, and the DJs are so great because they always are willing to give us the mixes, and we haven't repeated a DJ yet, and we're already on show 62, and we still have another 50 DJs to go, and we always getting asked from DJs, hey, can I get on the show? We're like, yo, submit a mix, and it's every Friday, and we're right now currently on 31 websites, and we're hopefully by the end of next week we'll be on 35. So we're always increasing the syndication of that show, and it's a great show. It's a good show on Fridays to start your weekend off. We play a lot of exclusive stuff and the new stuff, and the DJs the guest DJs that appear are always giving a mix up of classics and new stuff also.
It definitely wouldn't be possible without the guest DJs. They're the number one stars in the show. So without them, there's no way me and my brother could churn out so many mixes every week. So hats off to all the DJs that have submitted stuff, and hats off to all the DJs that are sending us stuff for the future episodes.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. All right, so let's get into it. This is the Santana Twins featuring Sean Davis. It's called Heartbeat Away. Check it out. Yes, back in the place right here, the world-famous Club Rec Show. Yours truly, Kazzeo, right here. It's 90.9 FM, KHTC, Radio Bilingue, in Salinas, Santa Cruz, and Monterey. 104.1 FM out there in Hollister, San Juan Bautista, and South Gilroy, and streaming live worldwide at WednesdayRec.com. Want to really quick go back to the Santana Twins because they had a couple things they wanted to say before I let them go. So, fellas, floor is yours.
All right. Well, thank you, first of all, for inviting us to do an interview. We appreciate the time you've given us and the support you always have given our music, and we hope to continue to provide you and the fans with quality music, and that's on the agenda. We want to give a shout-out to all the incredible artists we've worked with, and we also want to give a special shout-out to an integral part and member of our team, Nick Colon, who's always there for us, and he's the hidden member on the writing side and production consultation. So we didn't want anyone to forget his involvement in our team, and he rounds us out and he keeps us sane. But sometimes we get a little crazy. Nick will come in and say, "Hey, give us that look like you guys are starting to wild out now." So we want to definitely make sure we give him his due respect and mention it on the interview. Mike, do you have anything to say?
Now just look out for Nick Colon's new single coming out very shortly. The Samuel record coming out. We have a new Asia, a new Jasmine,
Myrna Lee.
We have, I don't know, too many right now to remember, but we definitely got a lot of songs in the pipeline. So stay tuned.
The goal is to get 5 records out before September 23rd for the end of the summer. We're gonna end it off the summer with a big hit.
Nice. Well, you guys are definitely putting in work, man, and I appreciate the quality product you guys are putting out, even when certain, greasy, freaky, just, washed up has-beens claim that nobody's putting out good freestyle anymore. You guys are definitely doing that, so don't listen. Don't listen.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right, so once again, thank you to the Santana Twins for being on the show tonight. I'm going to get a copy of this to you guys sometime tomorrow, and, we'll talk again real soon, all right?
Thank you very much, man. You have a great evening.
All right, man. Peace. 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 Peace.